Have you ever looked around your house and thought, I really don't need all this space anymore? Well, before you assume buyers won't value it, I want you to look at your home a little differently. Do you have a finished basement, maybe a separate entrance, an extra bedroom and bathroom downstairs, maybe a second kitchen, a kitchenette, a bonus room, or an area that could give someone a little more privacy? If you do, you may actually own something that a growing number of buyers are specifically looking for, a home that works for multiple generations. And there are some pretty interesting numbers showing just how much attention actually these homes are getting lately. So when I say multi-generational home, I'm not necessarily talking about a house that was specifically built for two families. It can be much simpler than that. So maybe you have aging parents who could comfortably live downstairs. Maybe you have an adult child that comes back home, while they're trying to save for their own house. Maybe grandparents want to live closer to their grandchildren while still having their own private space. Or maybe buyers simply want an area where family and friends, they can just comfortably stay when they come and visit. So that flexibility is becoming increasingly valuable. National research from Realtor.com actually found multi-generational households now represent about 4.5% of owner-occupied homes. And here's what I find really interesting. So listings marketed for multi-generational living receive approximately 13.5% more online views than standard listings. That tells us buyers are paying attention to these homes. And there's another statistic that really caught my attention. Nationally, homes identified as multi-generational listings were listed at approximately 22% more per square foot than standard homes. Now, I want to put that number into perspective for you because I don't want anyone thinking that simply finishing your basement automatically makes your house, worth 22% more because in reality it does not. So many of these homes are larger or have special features like an in-law suite, a secondary kitchen, guest house, separate entrance, or additional living areas. But I think the bigger message behind the number is what's important. Buyers are basically recognizing the value of homes that provide flexibility, and that's something sellers shouldn't overlook. So here in West St. Louis County, I think it's particularly interesting because we have so many established homes with finished lower levels, walkouts, additional bedrooms, full bathrooms, and larger floor plans. Think about homes in areas like Baldwin, Chesterfield, Wildwood, Ellisville, Manchester. Many of these homes were never technically designed or marketed as multi-generational homes, but they may function beautifully that way. And today's buyer may actually look at your finished basement very differently than a buyer did years ago. So you may look downstairs and simply see your basement, but a buyer might see a guest suite, a place for mom or dad, a private area for an adult child, a home office, a recreation area, or simply a way for their home to change and adapt as their family changes. And that's exactly why I think sellers need to pay attention to how their homes are positioned and marketed. In July of 2026, the median days on market in St. Louis County was about 40 days. So homes aren't necessarily flying off the market anymore or instantly. And that means presentation, pricing, positioning, and making sure buyers are understanding what makes your home different. That really matters. So we're also seeing a bigger shift in what buyers value. Buyers aren't necessarily just looking for the biggest house. They're looking for homes that work for the way they actually live. So they want flexible spaces, they want comfort, privacy, outdoor living, character, and many buyers want a home they can move into without immediately spending a fortune making changes. So a recent Zillow research found that customized move-in ready homes can sell for upward of 3% more than expected compared with similar homes. The research also found that certain desirable lifestyle features can be associated with even larger premiums. So if you're thinking about selling, don't automatically assume you need to spend tens of thousands of dollars remodeling your house before you put it on the market. Sometimes the opportunity is already there. We simply need to identify what buyers are going to value and then make sure we're marketing those features correctly. And this is where actually I think sellers, sometimes they leave money on the table. So sometimes I'll walk through a house with a homeowner and they'll say something like, oh, that's just the basement, or that's just the extra bedroom, or we really don't use that room anymore. But see, that's That's looking at the house from your perspective. My job when I'm marketing your home is to look at it from the buyer's perspective. So what problem could that space solve for the next family? Could your lower level, given an aging parent, some privacy, could that bonus room become the perfect work from home office? Could a full bathroom and sleeping area make it comfortable for long-term guests? Could a walkout basement create enough separation for two generations to comfortably live under one roof? So those aren't simply rooms. So those are lifestyle benefits, and to that's why we need to sell that. So if you're considering selling your home in West St. Louis County, I would actually recommend doing something before you start spending money on renovation. So here's what I would do. I would walk through your house and identify every space that could serve more than just one purpose. Then think about who might eventually buy your home. So what would that buyer value, and what might they see in your home that you don't notice anymore because you've lived there for years. Then we need to make sure those features are clearly communicated through the photography, the video, listing description, floor plan, and overall marketing of the home, because buyers can't value something they don't understand. If you have a beautiful finished lower level with a bedroom, full bathroom, and separate living area, but the marketing simply says finished basement, we're probably not telling the entire story. I want buyers walking through that space thinking, oh, my mom could live here, or oh, my college son could have his own space, or this could be perfect when our grandchildren visit, or I could finally have my home office without giving up a bedroom. So that's when we're no longer simply just selling square footage. We're actually selling possibilities. And this is also why I don't believe on online home estimates. They can't tell you everything you need to know about what your house could actually sell for. That they're a good starting point, but that's about it. Two homes can have similar square footage. They can have the same number of bedrooms and bathrooms. They can even be located in the same neighborhood, but buyers may perceive those two homes very differently. A walkout lower level with a bedroom, full bathroom, living area, and separate entrance, they can offer a completely different lifestyle than an unfinished basement. And that's why when I'm determining the potential value of a home, I don't simply look at a Zestimate or multiply the square footage by an average price per square footage. I look at the actual comparable sales. I'm looking at what's currently for sale and what you're competing against. I'm looking at the condition, all the updates, the location, the floor plan, the lot, and most importantly, the features buyers are responding to in today's market. Then we determine not only what the home may be worth, but how we're going to position and market it so buyers understand why it's so special. So if you own a home in Baldwin, Chesterfield, Wildwood, Ellisville, Manchester, or anywhere in West St. Louis County, I want you to think about your home a little differently. Maybe you've wondered, could my home work for a multi-generational family? Or maybe simply wondering, what could my house sell for in today's market? That's where I can help. So if you're thinking about selling, even if you're still months away, reach out to me. So you'll find all my contact information in the description below. I'd be happy to prepare a detailed home valuation for you, look at the features that make your property different, and show you how I can position and market your home to reach the buyers most likely to appreciate those features. And then when the time comes for your next move, I would truly be honored to help you actually through the process. That's also why I think it's so important to share information like this, these real estate tips, because real estate is constantly changing and there's so much information online that it can be difficult to know what actually matters when you're thinking about selling your home. I want this channel to be a place where homeowners in West St. Louis County can get very good, useful information, straightforward information about our local housing market, home values, what today's buyers are looking for, and what you can do now to prepare for a future sale. Because you shouldn't have to wait until the day you're ready to put a sign in your yard to start learning about the market. The more you know ahead of time, the better prepared you'll be to make really good decisions when the time actually comes. So if you found this video helpful, please subscribe to the channel. I'll continue sharing information about West St. Louis County, the real estate market, home values, and what buyers are looking for, and things you can do to protect and maximize the value of your home. And if you know someone who may be thinking about selling, downsizing, or simply wondering, what's my home worth? please share this video with them. It may answer a question they didn't even know they should be asking themselves. So, and remember, sometimes the part of your home that you've stopped noticing because you've lived there so long, it's exactly the part that makes the next buyer fall in love with it. So when you're ready for your next move, I'd be honored to help you. Again, you'll find all my contact information in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.